I'm also very excited that I have the privilege to share with you the revelation knowledge of knowing how to make it to the end. We've been talking about, and then the end will come. And Jesus said, not everyone is going to make it because they're going to give up, they're going to get offended. And so he wants to share with us today how to make it to the end. Let's acknowledge him. Jesus, we thank you. Just take over. We thank you so much that you're telling us things to come, that you're sharing with us the revelation knowledge that we need to make it to the end. We love you and praise you and give you all the glory. So Matthew 24:10 said, and many people are going to be offended and repelled and begin to distrust and desert him as Jesus, whom they ought to trust and obey. And they'll stumble and fall away and betray one another and pursue one another in hatred. And so the persecution is going to be so bad. They're going to hand you over to suffer affliction and tribulation and put you to death. You'll be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And at that point, many who were following him are going to turn away. And today he wants to tell us how to make it through that. And the answer is in verse 42. He said, watch. Watch, therefore. Give strict attention. Be cautious and active, for you don't know the day, whether near or remote, when the Lord is coming. And so you can't say, okay, I know when he's coming. This is when I'm going to get ready. You can't put it off. This is a serious thing. Watch and pray. Understand this, that the householder, if he had known what part of the night and day, whether night or morning, the thief was coming, he would have watched, and he would not have allowed his house to be broken into. Verse 44, you also must be ready, therefore, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour when you do not expect him. I have a little note here, and it says, if you're not ready. But the thing is that he wanted me to share with you, Noah was getting ready. He was close to God. He was paying attention. And God told him to build an ark. How big to build an ark? He gave him all these instructions. And so as Noah's getting ready, God told him he was going to start over that. He was going to flood the earth to build its ark. And an ark is a vessel. It's a vessel. It's a form of safety. Moses was put in an ark. In some translations, it's called an ark, a vessel. And so Noah was really building a vessel of safety because God was going to flood the earth. And so by him being that close to God, God was telling him, I'm going to do this when you're done with a boat. And what Jesus wants to say to us today is, I've given you direction. I have a thing for you to do. And when you're done with that, then I'm coming. When you're done with that thing that I told you to do, of course, those of us who are doing that work, it's not his will that one should perish. And so what he's asking us to do is to be a part of his life and helping to prepare the way for him. And that takes putting everything else aside and building that ark. As the disciples, they put everything else aside and they followed Jesus. They continued his work. They left their life behind. The rich man refused to do that. He said, what do I have to do to have eternal life? Jesus said, follow me. He said, no, I'm not doing that. And many today are saying that. No, I'm not doing that. But he's saying, if you don't build your ark, then when he comes, you're going to be shocked. Let me also mention, when Noah was done with the ark, God said, okay, it's going to rain in 7 days. So he wasn't oblivious to what was going to happen. But those who weren't getting ready, those who weren't close to God, drowned in the flood. They were doing life as usual. And the same thing's going to happen today. If you watch and pray, if you talk to Jesus, praying is talking to Jesus. If you talk to him every day, If he's giving you something to do, you know while you're doing that you're going to have time to finish that. He had to have his ark finished before God could make it rain, or they would have drowned. Another thing that Jesus is talking to me about. So much of the time people say, okay, Lord, I'm going to do that. I hear you. I hear you talking to me. I'm going to do that. Okay, I'll start next week. And he's really telling them to build an ark, a vessel of safety, so that you know when he's coming. You won't know the day or the hour, but you'll know that you have this project, this thing to do. But you keep putting them off and you keep putting them off. And you're going to end up not doing it. Don't let this life be so important to you that you can't hear him, that he can't instruct you. If you're like the rich man and it's all about your stuff, your life here, if you're hanging on to this, you're not going to have that ark of safety. You're not going to know. Just think about it. If Noah's building this ark every day, for 100 years it took him to build that ark. And he's building the ark. His life is about building this ark. If you're doing what God told you to do, your life is about doing this ministry, having assignment after assignment. And you know that the things that he's given you to do have to be accomplished so that all will know you're making the way for him. You have a sense of accomplishment, and then he's going to say, okay, time's up. But then again, if you put it off, time's going to be up and it's going to be too late for you. And so don't put it off. Make your life about getting ready for him. He is coming, and you have to be prepared by having your stuff done. And that's what he's saying today. And then it won't be like a thief in the night. You'll be ready. Be like, oh, I knew. Noah's like, okay, so 7 days. We know what's going to happen. We know ahead of time. We were listening. We were paying strict attention during making the boat. We didn't know for sure exactly how it was going to happen. But now that this boat is done, we know it's going to rain any day now. And then, in fact, God told him 7 days. God is watching. He sees the evil in the earth, and he's going to start over. And this time, the earth is going to burn. And those who have followed him will be saved. Those who have built themselves an ark, a vessel of safety. And so it won't be like a thief in the night for you if that's what you're doing. But those who aren't paying attention and thought they had time and thought they didn't have to do the work, thought they didn't have anything to do, they're going to be shocked when Jesus gets here. And when he says, away from me, I never knew you, to them. But Lord, we did this. I know I didn't get a chance to do what you told me to do, but I did this and I did that. He's going to say, I didn't know you. His will is the whole thing, not just part of it. You're not going to do just part of what he told you to do. And in that state, you're going to give up even before he gets here. He said, many are going to turn away. You're going to be offended at him. And if you would stay with him, it would only be because you were watching for him. You were seeking him every day. Okay, I did this. Now what? Now what? Now what should I do? You're going to be waiting for a direction. You're going to be watching. You're going to be giving strict attention to your assignment. Okay, I got to do this. And the enemy is going to come. I already know this. And he's going to try to distract me. And I'm not going to get off the path. I'm just going to keep going and keep going and keep going. And so I have that vessel of safety because I did what Jesus told me to do. I'm going to not quit. I'm not going to distrust him. I'm not going to turn away from him. That's a clear message. That's how you make it to the end. Otherwise, you're not going to make it. He said many are going to turn away and distrust him. And he's telling us today, it's because we're not doing that assignment, because we don't think we have to do anything. He said many are going to say, but Lord, I did this in your name, I did that in your name. So he's clearly telling us today that we have a part to do. He said, if you believe in me, you're going to do what I was doing. You have a part in his plan for your life, for your salvation. He has something for you to do, and it's vital that you do it. It's your vessel. That's what he wants to tell you today. That's the only way that you're going to make it to the end. Otherwise, by not having that constant daily fellowship with him, you're going to fall. You're not going to recognize what's happening. You're not going to hear him say, it's okay, hang in there. It's a few more days, and I'm going to be there. Don't quit, don't give up, don't turn away from me now. Don't distrust me. But if you can't hear him now, if you're not fellowshipping with him now, how are you going to hear him that day? Being a part of his life is doing his work, and we all have an assignment. And your assignment is what's going to help you make it to the end. So, Jesus said, I'm knocking at the door of your heart. And if you would heed my voice, I would come and live on the inside of you. If you would heed my voice, you got to do what he's telling you to do. He's saving you. Verse 19 says he corrects those that he loves. He's correcting us today. He's showing us. He's giving us revelation knowledge. He's telling us what is about to happen and how to make it. Acknowledge him. Acknowledge him with me right now. Jesus, we commit to you. We're going to do your will. We acknowledge you. We're going to heed your voice. Come and live on the inside of us. We're going to take you seriously. We're going to put everything aside for you. We're going to do your will, not ours. We're not going to live by our opinion. We're not going to try to do this thing without you. Come and teach us, show us. I love you and praise you and give you all the glory. I hope you said that prayer today. John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word is God. He is his Word, so you get to know him by looking at the Word. And when you hear him, he's going to sound like his Word. Follow him. Follow him, and you'll make it. Thank you so much for listening today. God bless you.